going on, everyone? So here I am, sunny California, enjoying the nice dry heat. It's not quite as hot as yesterday, at least not yet. But want to talk a bit about my experiences yesterday, right, at E3, the press conferences. If you guys are following it, you probably heard some of the really big highlights from Microsoft conference. They talked a little bit about Project Scarlet, which is their next generation Xbox. Keanu Reeves basically stole the show. He was the highlight. He came out, gave the release date for Cyberpunk, which is CD Projekt Red's next game, Witcher 3 developers. And yeah, he did it in style. He was cool. He was fun. I got a snapshot of him. But overall, I would say the conference itself was pretty uninteresting from what you would hope to get from an E3 conference from a gaming standpoint. They showed a lot of games, 60 games. They kept touting that, we're going to show 60 games. But it definitely was a case of quantity over quality in general. Some of the games look cool, don't get me wrong. Tales of Arise looked really good. They showed Halo at the very end. I'm obviously not a big Halo person myself, but if you're into Halo, it looks promising for sure. But there's a couple problems that they had with the conference as a whole. First of all, the main thing is that they just showed nothing but trailers. And even in most cases, the trailers were just of CG trailers. So it was not representative of gameplay at all. I miss the good old days, man, of E3, where, you would see developers go on stage with a dev kit on stage, holding, their controller in their hand, right? And, playing a game, right? If you guys are gamers, you remember, for example, when Naughty Dog showed Uncharted 2 for the first time at E3, and they showed, the whole train sequence, right, where Drake was, stuck in the train, and then they showed them play through that entire level, the scene where the helicopter was shooting up the building exploded. That was exciting. I mean, even though you knew Uncharted 2 was a known entity, but that was something you can get excited about when you watch it. Like, man, I'm gonna get to play that, I'm gonna get to experience that. That's cool. Microsoft showed 60 games, but it was literally, this is what I equated to. If you go to a movie theater and you're watching, you're going to watch a big show, you're going to see Endgame, for example, whatever. You know how they have like the 15 minutes of trailers before the main show? Well, take that 15 minutes and make that 90 minutes. It was 90 minutes of trailer after trailer after trailer. No gameplay in most cases. In a few cases, it did have gameplay. I mean, it really just wasn't that interesting. The big games that Microsoft had, like Gears 5, it's like the really only big, holiday game for 2019. That's another thing I'm going to talk about. That game was coming out in 3 months, and they still didn't show any gameplay for that. They've been really mysterious with that. I've seen Gears 5 myself. I went to the studio as part of my work, but they didn't show it publicly. They didn't show, much anything substantial. It's kind of weird. They do have Gears 5 at the E3 show floor, though. I do know that, so I might get to actually see it before I leave a couple days. But it's just weird that they didn't show that at the conference. Halo, they didn't show any gameplay for that. I'm not surprised by that. That's still a ways away. But yeah, they didn't really show anything for that. So they showed a lot of games. Again, most of the games they showed, here's the other problem with Microsoft's conference and strategy in general. They have a lot of good games. Most of them are third-party games, meaning that they're available on everything, PC, PlayStation, in some cases a Nintendo Switch, whatever. But their other strategy in general is almost every Xbox game is also available on a PC. They're kind of trying to merge, in a way, the PC and the Xbox console into one Xbox or Microsoft gaming platform. In a way, that's kind of good. From their standpoint, they don't care about what platform is selling and and who's playing on what platform. They just care that people are playing their games. The accumulation of that is the Xbox Game Pass, which one takeaway from the conference is that actually looks pretty damn good, to the point where I'm pretty sure you're gonna see Sony, Nintendo, probably Google with Stadia, pretty much any major player that's doing games, they're going to have some way of copying Game Pass. Game Pass, if you don't know, is Microsoft's essentially kind of like their Netflix subscription. So you pay a subscription fee. Now it's $9.99 generally per month, and that gives you access to like over 100 games. And the cool thing is that it's not just like old games, it's like new games. So when a brand new game comes out, when Halo Infinite comes out next year, if you have a Game Pass subscription, you have it. So when it comes out, you just go click and download. You don't have to go worry about paying $60 to go to the store and get the game. You don't even have to worry about paying $60 to go to the Xbox digital store, right, and paying for that game. If you have Game Pass, that game comes out, you literally just go to it and you click install or download, and it's yours, and you have it as long as you have Game Pass. So it's not yours in the true sense of when you buy a physical copy, but you have access to the full game. Now, a game that comes out at $60, dude, the new Xbox Game Pass that now will add the PC to it. So they have PC and Xbox. You can get all the games they have available for both platforms for $14.99 a month. If you just want the console, you still paying $9.99 a month. So at worst case, $14.99 a month, $15 a month, right? For 12 months per year, you're paying $160. Dude, that's barely 3 games, right? $60 per game, that's less than 3 full games. So if you're going to get more than 3 games, it kind of pays for itself, which is pretty awesome. Now, you're getting like 40, 50 games, 60 games that like literally in full games. Gears 5, day one, Game Pass. A lot of the games they showed will be available day one on Game Pass. So Game Pass is it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty big risk. I mean, they're cutting into a lot of the sales that they could get. But again, Microsoft is all about wanting you just to play. They want people to be playing more and more of their games on their platforms. They don't care which platform it is, just play the games. And that's their way of doing it. And again, you're going to see Sony and probably Nintendo and probably Google copy that to some extent, because that's kind of a game changer. But you have very little reason to buy an Xbox console when you can play almost every one of those games, at least on PC. Even the Microsoft, first party games, Halo, Gears, Forza, you can play on the PC. And then most of the other games like Cyberpunk and, a lot of the third party games, you're going to be able to play on, everything else, pretty much PlayStation, probably Switch and whatever. So Microsoft is, they're doing some interesting things. But I mean, my takeaway from the conference was, again, they showed a bunch of games, most of which you'll be able to play on some other platform, at least PC. Pretty much all of them, at least on PC. Game Pass was cool. They showed no gameplay. And not only that, but all of the games that they did show pretty much was next year, 2020. The 60 games, the vast majority of them were 2020. The only thing they showed for this year, like I said, Gears 5 is like their main holiday game. And then like some DLC, Lego Cars in Forza 4, Horizon 4. State of Decay 2 has some DLC. They showed some DLC stuff, but by and large, like their message was, okay, ride with us, hold on for another year or so, and next year we're gonna have a ton of cool stuff. We're gonna have a brand new console, we're gonna have Halo coming, we're gonna have all these other cool games, all of our investment in the studios that we've been purchasing. We're gonna start to see some of their games by 2020. So, again, E3 used to be that thing where you look in and you would, have a lot to be excited about for that current year. You would get to see people playing games that you're interested in. You would get some surprises for new games that you didn't know about, didn't know that you wanted, didn't know that you cared about. That would be, coming on. And hey guys, I got some people watching me, so that's cool. You would get to see some people, doing that, and you come away from it like, man, that was surprising. I didn't know that was coming out. That game I already had an eye on, I got to see, and like I'm really excited now. There was none of that at Xbox conference, honestly. I mean, for me, and for some people came from it saying, hey, it was awesome, it was the best thing they ever did. I don't personally see that. But again, if you into Xbox and you're already invested in Xbox, there's going to be a lot of, Microsoft is not, slouching. There's going to be a lot of games coming out. There's going to be a lot of things for you to play. If you wasn't someone who was already in Xbox, I don't think they showed anything that would convince you. If you're already like Team PlayStation or Team Switch or whatever, there's nothing that they showed that's going to say, okay, I gotta go and play Xbox. I gotta get an Xbox One, or even right now, Project Scarlet, the next generation Xbox, for anything that they showed. So I would say overall, to give it a ranking, give it a grade, my personal opinion, I would give it about a C. Again, they had a lot of games. They have games coming. We know they have content. Their big product, Project X Cloud, their whole streaming thing. They literally touched on that for like a minute and a half. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, they showed nothing I thought they would talk a lot more about that. Google just had their Stadia Direct thing just last week. They talked about pricing. They talked about some games coming to it. They kind of talked about how it will work, what you need, that kind of stuff. Microsoft xCloud is supposed to be coming out later this year, at least initially. And yeah, we still know almost nothing really about it. We know it will stream Xbox games. We don't know to what devices necessarily. We don't know what the cost model will be. But they will have xCloud at the show floor, so I might get to try it. But I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like they barely touched on that. And then for the next gen Scarlet, I mean, let's be honest, they literally said everything that Sony already said about the PS5 in terms of what it will be. They kind of just said, yeah, we'll have all that too. They showed nothing else that would be different about it. They didn't show anything above and beyond, again, what Sony showed, which is kind of a missed opportunity in a way. I mean, we know it's still a ways away, but given that Sony had already kind of spilled the beans a bit, they had an opportunity to kind of, I guess, one-up them in a way, and they didn't do that. They just said, yep, we're going to have an SSD drive. We're going to use AMD parts as well. I mean, literally everything that the Sony already said about what the PS5 will bring. So both companies obviously are being very coy. There's still a lot they haven't talked about in terms of what those systems will have. We'll kind of learn more. There's still a lot of leaks going on. We'll learn more soon. But I mean, yeah, if you're in the Xbox, I think it's kind of like par for the course. I think everything is kind of still level. Game Pass is definitely cool. If you don't have Game Pass, you probably should have it, I'm telling you. They're coming out with Game Pass on PC, so that's also a bonus. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Gears, Halo, Forza, same old. They supposedly have a bunch of games in the works, but we don't know what that looks like yet. So anyway, it was cool being there. It's cool being here in general in sunny California. Cool being at the press conference. I also went to Bethesda's conference. Less to talk about with that, honestly. I mean, their conference last year was a lot better. They didn't really talk about too much interesting there, honestly. Elder Scrolls Online still going. Fallout 76 was kind of a disaster at launch, but they're still working on it. They bringing some cool stuff to it. They got a Battle Royale mode coming to it. They got NPCs coming to it, which is like, that's really a thing, really. Anyway, I don't know. If you're into Bethesda stuff, they didn't have a whole lot to share there as well, but they're not going anywhere. So if you like their games are still going strong. But yeah, cool experience. So hope to see a lot more games at E3. There's a lot more press conferences going on today. Ubisoft is going on today. They got Watch Dogs 3 supposedly coming out, a new Assassin's Creed coming out, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which looks pretty good, coming out. So they got some games coming out. Again, that stuff is coming out this year too, so that's pretty cool. I'm curious to see what that looks like. Square Enix is happening today. I'm not going to be at any of these, by the way. I'm just saying that they're coming on. But Square Enix is happening today. Final Fantasy 16 rumored. They'll probably show a little bit about that. They have a Marvel Avengers game that's going to be curious. I'm curious to see what that looks like. Avengers being so big right now. We'll see what that turns out to be. And then some other stuff. So yeah, there's definitely some more big games to be announced this week. So if you're paying attention to E3, keep an eye on it. I may chime in with some other videos or some other stuff to just kind of see some of the highlights of what I'm seeing, what I'm showing. But always exciting time for gaming. We'll see what happens, man. So E3, check it out. Thanks for a couple of guys watching right now, but check out the video later. Till maybe later. If not, I'll probably post something else tomorrow. But until then, have a good day. Peace out.